So today, we're going to continue on our series about the seven chakras. And it's part 3. So we're going to be focusing on the solar plexus chakra today. Okay, the third chakra. Let's just get a revision of what are the chakras. Chakras are energy centers that help regulate all the bodily functions, organ functions, immune system, and our emotions. So we understand that the body is 100% energy. Science tells us that. So what the mystics going back 1600 BC is the first time it was written about the chakras, that there are energy centers within us. And it seems that these energy centers are not only Indian and Hindu, but if you go to the Chinese side in Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and that there are points of energy and there can be blockage in those energy centers, that we basically, from the standpoint that we're looking at it, there are chakras. In some instances, they talk about chakras that are even outside of our bodies, so there's more. But we're focusing on the 7 that are within the bodily structure. They go from the base of our spine to the top of our head. Okay, and you could see that back here, right? Start at the red, that's the root chakra, and then you go all the way up to the crown chakra. Each chakra has its own frequency. In other words, it's vibration, it's energy. And what does energy do? Energy vibrates, right? It's got a frequency, like a radio station has a frequency. If you want 105, 3, you can't tune into 102. 8, not the same frequency, so each chakra is a different frequency, and it governs specific functions within the body. And since we're all energy, the ability to manage our centers is critical to the overall function and balance within our body. Our body is in harm in the state of homeostasis, which is a state of natural health when our energy is balanced. And our energy is balanced a very small percentage of our time. Did you get that? We're mostly out of balance. So let's go in and let's look at the solar plexus chakra. It is the third chakra. It's located 6 inches above the belly button. So ladies, this is 6 inches, gentlemen. This is 6 inches. So you have the same measuring stick. Some of you have very, very not spiritual minds this morning. But if you can go like that, your solar plexus is right here, okay? It's belly button, diaphragm, right? If you breathe in diaphragm, I can't do that too deep. It's represented by the color yellow. Okay, so yellow is the color. Remember, the root chakra was red. You've got the sacral chakra was orange. Now we move up into yellow. And you notice that the colors of the chakras are the same colors in order. That's in the rainbow, just so that you get that the same color scheme does flow there. It represents self-esteem, self-confidence, identity, and personal power. That's what this is about. That's where this controls, those aspects of us. Its element is fire, and as such, it's responsible for regulating the energy, the action, identification, the intention, and vitality. Hey, have you ever heard someone say, "You got any fire in your gut?" Did you ever hear that? There's fire burning inside me. I'm really juiced with fire. I'm lit up. Why? Your third chakra is firing off. It's telling you something. Let's say if you're going through something, you're in a situation that's not comfortable, and you start getting pain in your third chakra. What's it telling you? You're out of balance, right? So the idea is that when you're thinking about your third chakra and you're focusing on it, you've got to sort of ask the question, what am I feeling? What's the energy? Is the energy moving in a positive way, in a negative energy? Or is the energy blocked? The solar plexus, traits of a balanced chakra here. One feels a sense of wisdom, decisiveness, and personal power. When you are in balance, divine wisdom is flowing through you. You know you've got the power within you and you're decisive about it. There is no procrastination, no hesitation. You know, your energy is flowing there. Traits of an overactive chakra. You may be quick to anger. You have the need to control and micromanage. Greediness and a lack of compassion and empathy. When you are not in balance, you try to and you're overactive, you overcompensate. You become a micromanager. So we have a strong interaction, and Debbie is forever pounding me on the side of the head with the spiritual hammer of, you can delegate that. You don't have to control that. And so she's helping me to understand that. In my third chakra, I might have some blockage, or I might have an overactive thing going on. Traits of an underactive chakra, the feeling of low self-esteem, apathy, procrastination, being taken advantage of, indecisive, insecure, timid, and needy. How can you tell when people are needy? Oh Lord, I'm not one that likes to deal with needy. I'm going to share this story with you. When I was in the hospital last week, the nurses would come in at shift change, and they would go through the whole summary about what the patient was, giving all that, so the next nurse would know everything going on. Here's what they said about me. They walked in and said, "Mr. Wallach is extremely independent." Extremely and pretend I was not needy. Here's what my thought was. I was very conscious, but what I knew is I needed to be in the hospital, to have an intravenous cannula in my arm, to have them be able to push strong doses of antibiotics into my body, and then I needed to rest and allow the antibiotics to work. That's all I needed. I didn't need to have someone help me to the bathroom, to help feed me, to give me a sponge bath, although I did think about the sponge bath. I had some really wonderful nurses, but I didn't do it. I was very independent. But at the same time, I'm going to share this with you. I'm just going to go a slight bit off topic. Just a slight bit. When you're in the hospital or you're dealing with your finances or you're dealing with anything that's personal to you, you have got to become your own personal advocate. And you cannot blindly accept what someone's going to give you. Because after I got my antibiotics, they came in and said, "Well, we're going to put this in the meds." "What is that?" "Well, that's for your stomach." I said, "My stomach's fine." "Well, it's okay. It's a precaution." I said, "No, you're not giving it to me." Then they said, "Well, we're going to also give you this." They named some drug. And I said, "What's that for?" "It's so you don't get blood clots in your legs." "I've only been here like 5 hours. How am I going to get blood clots in my legs?" And they said, "Well, it's," I said, "Is it an anti? Is it a blood thinner? Like a warfarin that?" She says, "Yes." I said, "You're not giving that to me." And she said, "Well, it's protocol." I said, "I'm not protocol." Do you get that? That's what I'm trying to say. You've got to listen to the wisdom that you have, and that wisdom will guide you. You can't blindly accept things today or you become a statistic. And guess what? As human beings, we were not meant to be statistics. We were meant to live consciously and be able to go within and understand what is our body, what is our mind calling for. And as our body and mind call for, we speak that out and we settle for nothing else. That's being an advocate for love. That's being a spiritual advocate for yourself. That's being an advocate for life. And if everyone was that advocate, we wouldn't have the nonsense that we read in the papers today. Because people would have a sense of personal responsibility, and they wouldn't be subordinating themselves to anyone or dependent on others. Because God bless, think about that. The power of God is in each of us. Why are we not using that power to its highest? I guess the minister's doing a little preaching today. The key characteristics of the solar plexus, the chakra, is associated with the following behavioral characteristics. Expression of will. Notice I just talked about my expression of will, intellectual abilities, ability to think beyond, the ability to question, the ability to formulate your own answers, the part of the mind that categorizes everything, the part that assesses the pluses and assesses the minuses. That's in here as well. Personal power. Also the ability to bring ideas and plans into action, and it conveys wisdom. See where it says, assesses the pluses and minuses. And it's a key characteristic, and it's right here, isn't it? When something really negative happens in your life, and it really hits you here, and you're not balanced, you're not seeing the balance, what do you got to do at that moment? You've got to run to the bathroom, because you've stirred up your insides, haven't you? And that's a sure sign. Some of you are making those faces. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Lee. That happened to me Thursday morning. I was assessing something. And we'll talk about that in the announcements. I was assessing something, and I said I was on the negative thing, and I had to run to the bathroom. I said, "Oh, I guess I'm focusing on one side of the issue. I became aware because I was doing the talk." And the talk said, "Oh, you're on one side. You've got to balance the chakra." So what happens when the chakra is imbalanced? Excessive control and use of authority. Also, or the opposite of that, feeling of helplessness. Being obsessed with minute details. Ooh, Stop smiling, Debbie. I got into a detail thing on Friday, and Deb really let me know it. Manipulative. You ever been manipulated? Have you ever tried to manipulate anyone? How many people in here have ever been in a relationship? Was there manipulation going on at some point or some time on both sides? Darn right, aren't we? Because why? We're living in conditional love, which means if you do what I want, I'll be happy, and I like when you do what I want. But I'm going to have a perpetual need for you to do what I want, and that never is going to work. Also, misusing your power. You see this happen a lot when it's imbalanced. People misuse their power, and there's a lack of clear direction. The thing that I've really come to understand is, we talked about this in the class before service today, is that there's a divine wisdom in us, and we call it intuition. That wisdom will tell us what we need to do next. All we have to do is listen. But most of the time we're not listening. We're talking too much. We tend to talk more than we listen. Let me ask you this question. How many mouths do you have? How many ears do you have? So you should be listening twice as much as you speak. Real simple thing. The more you listen, the more you're awakening to the possibility of hearing the divine in you. When someone else is speaking, you're listening to the possibility that maybe the divine is speaking through their words in some form or fashion, or maybe that what they're speaking is going to give you a clue, which is going to trigger the divine to bring up a bigger answer. But if you're yapping all the time, you're not able to see anything but what you're currently stuck in. You're absolutely in quicksand in that moment until you begin to listen. And once you listen, then you can reach out and grab the branch and start to pull yourself out of the quicksand. Not able to efficiently bring things into being. See, when you're in balance, it's easy. Things just unflow because it's one step, another step, one step, another step. Because that's how life is. Life unfolds one step at a time. It's not in quantum leaps. If you believe in quantum leaps, go ahead. I think you're going to be highly disappointed because what I've learned is a natural evolution in a demonstration of a prayer. There's a natural evolution in a demonstration of healing. There's a natural evolution in a demonstration of wealth. There's a natural evolution in the ability to better self-love. There's a natural evolution in the ability to love someone else more. There's always a natural evolution. It's part of the life process. And the only way the life process works is through time and contrast. And contrast tells us, are we on the right path or are we on the wrong path? And so when we're tapped into our energy centers, we can tell whether it's right or wrong because we can tell if we're in balance or we're out of balance. How do you heal this chakra? Break our routine and take a risk. We are stuck in habits. Do something different. Take a risk in life. What have you got to lose? Nothing. If you die, no big problem. You're an expression of God. That means you're infinite. I don't know what happens once we die, but I know that I'm infinite. So why worry about it? Why worry about something you have no control over? Let's assume there's nothing afterwards. Well, when you die, there's nothing. Is there anything to worry about then? No, you're nothing. But if you die and you continue as soul forever and ever, eternally unfolding, however that looks, you know that that aspect of you will live forever. I believe that the soul aspect lives forever, and I don't believe in a heaven or a hell. Those are states of mind that we get to experience right here on Earth. But they're not real places. Don't fall into that myth. I think even the Pope just said there's no physical place like hell anymore. That's the Pope. You know? He had smoke come out of a chimney, so you know he's got to be right. Ha! Ha! Oh my God, did this minister just get sarcastic? Oops, which chakra is out of balance now? Break. Cut ties with critical and negative people. I can't get any clearer than that. Why would you continually allow a critical and negative person to remain in your life? I don't care who they are. Could be a father, a mother, a spouse, a brother, a sister, a cousin. Could be your own child that's an adult. If they're toxic to you, it's not good for you to stay in relationship with them at this time. It may be okay later, but it's not good now. You need time to what? Naturally heal from the relationship. And sometimes the only way to naturally heal is to be away from the relationship. Essential oils, this keeps coming up everywhere I look. Essential oils have a benefit. You have to learn to take a deep breath and take a step back. Deep breathing helps you become balanced, and when you become balanced, you can take a step back out of the situation and observe it and become an observer. Meditation and mantras, you know this is my favorite one. Also work with an energy healer, not any energy healer, someone that is very good and you resonate with. Let go of unhealthy attachments. We've got so many unhealthy attachments that we blindly buy into, and they're just nonsense, okay? Each week we're coming about how to clear it, and so it's a process. I'm actually creating a meditation, and we started with the root chakra. So if you don't have this, know that you can go back on YouTube, and you can go back into this talk, and all these slides are going to be in the talk. And on the last day, I'm going to pass this out so you have all 7. So you don't have to worry about it, okay? I'm going to make this real easy for you. But the idea is, you take your attention. Let's do this together. Put your attention and you put it 6 inches above your belly button. Put your finger there. 6 inches above your belly button. Now close your eyes and envision a yellow light going around that. If you're a man, that light is spinning clockwise. If you're a woman, it's spinning counterclockwise. It's a slow spin. So imagine now, if you're a man, that light is spinning clockwise. The yellow light is moving. If you're a woman, it's going counterclockwise. Now you're visualizing the yellow light. You've got it focused on that chakra. You're seeing it spin. And then we do the following mantra. Ram, Om, Aim, Harim, Shri, Matri, Namaha, Ram. Ram is the word that is associated with the chakra. The other words are part of the mantra that you do with every chakra. So it's not like you're memorizing a whole new mantra as you do the chakras, okay? So let's say this together. Ready? Ram, Om, Aim, Harim, Shri, Matri, Namaha, Ram. Now those words are Sanskrit. Sanskrit, it's not just the meaning of the words, it's the vibration of the word. The vibration of the word Ram hits the solar plexus, and the other words awaken the Divine Mother, or the Divine Feminine within you, which activates that chakra. That makes sense. So this week, I'm going to ask for you, if you could, you can, all take your cameras out and take a picture of this. If you want it, instead of writing notes, that's the easiest thing. I learned that from the General Xers, or what generation they are. Just photograph everything. There's no more notes. Go to a presentation, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. Amen. And try doing this. And when you're doing it, put your finger, close your eyes. Vision to color yellow. Man counterclockwise. Woman clockwise. See the yellow spinning. Ram, Om, Aim, Harim, Shrim, Shri, Matri, Namaha, Ram. Pretty simple, isn't it? That will take you a minute. Try it for a minute. Not even a minute. Maybe half a minute. Give it a shot.